So I'm Zack.
I'm Johannes.
And we're going to talk about a physical game we made called Surrender, and also about making physical games in general.
So we made Surrender at Lust, which, as mentioned, is a game jam about sex, love, and romance in games. And we made it with... Can we change the thing? We need technology. Okay. We made it with two other people who couldn't be here today. Press button. This is why we make physical games. We are not that advanced. There you go. So here you see us playing Surrender at the test stage. We made it with Sarah Homewood and Oli Harjola. I hope I got that somewhat right. We set out to make a physical game, a game with contact and submission as the theme and the thing we wanted to work with. We wanted it to be not about domination, about being the one dominating the other, but rather the one who was best at submitting would win. We found out that this whole theme was quite not as black as white as you might think, and that actually games in general is about submitting to the rules and the other players. Okay.
So the whole first day of the game jam, pretty much, we just experimented with some different physical activities, trying to find the possible core for the game. So we did a bunch of random stuff, like a leaning game, where you lean on each other and try to support each other across some field or something. We did a mirror game, where one person copies the upper body, other one copies the lower body. You have to do the same thing. It's really awkward and hard, so we didn't use that. But actually, we didn't use most of these random games that we did. They didn't end up in the final game, so they might seem like random or pointless. But in the end, we realized that was really valuable time for the game design process to get to discover what we had in common, what we wanted to make, and also to learn from each other's different backgrounds. Because, for example, Sarah is a dancer, and she had never made a game before. So she had a really unique perspective, and we learned a lot from each other during that time. So in the end, about 1/3 of the game jam was on doing these experiments. 1/3 was on playtesting the actual game we came up with, and then 1/3 was just on trying to figure out how to present it, how to describe the rules in a clear way.
Creating a physical game can seem both daunting and kind of trivial, as physical games is the oldest games that we know. But it can be quite enriching experience making these physical games in a world where everything seems to be more and more digital, also the world that we are in the everyday life. So in that sense, you can have a different experience in the body and experimenting with the physicality of the body. And we really like to explore the body as a playground and go about there.
The important thing we realized about figuring out how to explain the rules is that, with a physical game, if people don't know if everyone's not clear on exactly what's going to happen and what they have to do, then you can't even start playing because, there's no digital game to enforce the rules. So we realized that's a really important part of the whole process.
Yes. So making physical games is quite challenging because you have a single... you have more time to test and explore because you don't have to worry about coding and stuff like this. But you also have challenges like your piece are more or less the human body, and it's quite limited in what you can do. And also people are quite different. And you have to have the clear rules, and that's easy to understand. And it can be quite difficult to explain a rule. For instance, if you have a game that's based on you can only do a movement like this, then you have to figure out how to explain that in rules that is clear and understandable, which can be quite hard, especially if it's done in writing.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know.
Okay, I remembered what I forgot to say. So, with the fun thing about physical games is that it's a really fast way, if not the fastest way, to get people feeling comfortable with each other, and getting to know each other and getting in contact with people. And so like in just a few minutes of playing like a physical game, people might end up hugging and laughing and stuff. So that's kind of a special thing about physical games. Whereas with a digital game, you don't really get that physical intimacy and comfort. So that's kind of a special thing you can do with these.
Yes. Yes, and we're gonna play the game after lunch. We're gonna route some people to play it, and we might also play it later in the evening. Yes, thank you. Yay.